comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little atomies over men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes made of long spinner's legs, the cover, the wings of grasshoppers, her traces, the smallest spider's web. Her collars of the moonshine's watery beams, a whip of cricket's bow, a lash of film, a wagoner, a small gray-coated net, not half as big as a round little worm plucked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her cherries is an empty hazelnut made by the joiner squirrel or old grub, time out of mind with the fairy's coachmakers. And in this state she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love. On courtiers' knees that dream on curtsy straight, or a lawyer's fingers who straight dream on fees, or a lady's lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry man with blisters plagues, because the breath of his sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she driveth over a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling at the suit. And sometimes comes she with a tithe pig's tail tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep, and then he dreams of another baroness. And sometimes she driveth over a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breaches, emboscados, Spanish blades, of hell's 5 fathom deep, and then anon drums in his ear, in which he starts and wakes, and being thus frightened, swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is the very man which plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf locks in foul slutty shares, and which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is the very hag, when maids lie on their backs, that presses them, and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she.
All right. And my speech is on Lord Capulet and his conversation with Paris in Act 1, Scene 2. But Montague is bound as well as I in penalty of life. And it is not hard, I think, for men so old as we to keep the peace.
Of honorable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit?
But saying all I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her right to be a bride.
Younger than she, our happy brother's maid.
And too soon marred are those so early made. The earth had swallowed all my hopes but she. She's the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agreed within her scope of choice, lies my consent in fair according voice. Tonight I hold an old accustomed feast, where to invite many a guest, such as I love, and you among the store, one more most welcome, makes my number more. At my poor house look to behold this night, earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as do lusty young men feel, when well-apparelled April on their heel of limping winter treads, even such delight among fresh fennel buds shall you see this night inherit at my house. Here all see, and like her most whose merit most shall be, and mine included, line, which on more view of many, mine being one, shall stand in number, though in reckoning none. Come, go with me. Go, sire, trudge about through fair Verona. Find those prisons out whose names are written there, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure stay.
And I did Act 1, Scene 3, Nurse. Even or odd, of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve, at night shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age, well, Susan is with God, she was too good for me. But, as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. Now shall she marry, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it.
Of all the days.
Of all days in the year, upon that day, for I had laid whirlwind to my dove, sitting in the sun under the dove house wall. My lord and you were then in Mantua. Nay, I do bear a ring. But, as I said, come mine. When it did taste the whirlwind on the nipple of my dove, I felt it bitter, pity fool, to see it touchy and fall out with the dove. Shade cold the dove house. 'Twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge.
And since that time?
And since that time it is 11 years. For she could have line.
For then she could
But then she could have line.
stand high.
For she could stand high alone, nay, by the rood, she could have run and waddled all about. For even the day before she broke her brow, and my husband, God be with his soul, I was a merry man. She took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backwards when thou hast more wit, wilt thou not, Jewel? And by my holy dame, the pretty wretch left crying and said, Aye! to see how a jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years. Line.
I
never should forget it. Wilt thou not, Jewel? Quoth he, and the pretty fool it stitted and said, Aye.
Enough of this. I pray thee hold thy peace.
Yes, madam. Yet I cannot choose but laugh. To think it should leave crying and say, Aye. But, line.
And yet I will.
And yet I warrant it had upon it brow a bump as big as a young cockerel stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fallest upon thy face, thou wilt fall backwards when thou comest of age. Wilt thou not, Jewel? And it stitted and said, Aye.
Okay.
The balcony scene from Act 2, Scene 2.
Ay me.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being over my head as is a winged messenger of heaven, unto the white upturned wandering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him, when he bestrides the lazy puffing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, be but sworn, my love, and I'll no longer be a cavalier.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, but not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, face, or any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What did a name that which we call a rose by any other name was not sweet? So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo.
What man art thou that thus bescreaming night so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. And my name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of this consonance, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither fair maid, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither, tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen shall find thee death.
With love's light wings that are perched these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do, that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
I would not for the world they saw thee.
Mine.
I have night's cloak.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes, and but thou love me. Let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued. Walking at thy love.
By whose direction foundest thou out this place?
By love that first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed with the part of the sea, I should adventure for such merchandise.